first thing you need to ask yourself when you're plein air painting is, what should I paint? And how should I set up to where I will not cause any congestion or anything, especially in a area where there will be a lot of people. There's a lot of people in the parking lot. Will be a lot of people this afternoon in the parking lot. So what we have done is we have set up here, and we will be concentrating on this scene right here of this wonderful farm scene here with the old barn and the outbuildings. I really enjoy the contrast from the white of the building with all the trees and all the foliage behind it, plus all this foreground area of all the weeds, and it just looks wonderful. It looks like Boone is what it looks like. And if we want to, we could always do a painting of this. It takes a lot of material to do a plein air painting, okay? And but if we can get it, if I can show you some pointers here to where it would help you in your organization of your plein air painting, then that's what we'll do here today. There's all sorts of material and aids that you can get for plein air painting. Okay, here's just a few of them. When you start out with, what you need to do, what I normally do is I will take my camera and I will take a picture of this just as a visual reference later. Okay. But what I will start out with here is I'll have all my sketching. I have my sketching pens here, pencils, pens, and then we have some value markers. And these are the paint brushes that I will show you about here today, okay? Next, what we will have is, if you are not very experienced in finding your values are your lights and your darks in a scene like this. This is Don Rankin's Perception Kit, and what this is it is a piece of plastic, and you use it to get rid of the color. And what you see, when you look through here, all you see are the lights and the darks. You do not see color, okay? This is a very valuable tool in preparing your sketches for the painting process, okay? Now what you can do, these are something that have just, I have just been introduced to them lately with Cheap Joe. Always before, or when I started in the 70s, we had none of the visual aids that you have now. So I'm quite excited to kind of showcase some of these products here. So we will use that later, okay? This is and this also gives you a value scale from all the values that you need to make a fine piece of work here, okay? And you can look through here. When you look through this red plastic, you should see these values, and you need to record them on your sketching paper with this visual aid. And also too, you can look through here, and when you're outdoors and you say, wow, my goodness, there's a whole world to paint. Well, we have to edit an area down. And so this is a viewfinder here. And you can set that up, and what it'll do is you can hold it further out, or you can hold it closer to you, and then you can get the image the way you want to represent it on the size of the paper. You can use this for horizontal or this for vertical, okay, and everything. Okay, we have this. Now next is we have some sketching paper, and this is a Kilimanjaro product, and it is watercolor paper, 140-pound cold press, and this is always a piece of sketch paper between each page. So what you can do here is you can do your little sketch here using your pencils or your pens, okay? And once you get the values here the way you would like it, then you can just turn the page here, or what you can do here, let's work this way with it here. You'll have your sketch here. You can do the sketch here, and then you can open it up here, and you can paint your little painting right here on this. These are wonderful for if you don't have an easel set up. I will show a little bit of the using the Cheap Joe's artist sketch pencils. They have them from 2B to 8B, I believe. These 4 selections here. And they also have a wonderful eraser on the back of them. in the late 60s and early 70s and 80s, I did a lot of sketching with pencil. Okay, I just loved to sketch with a pencil because I could have a pencil in one hand and an eraser in the other hand, and I could correct the mistakes I made. Well, in the late 80s, I found myself spending too much time erasing. I would take and I'd put a line down and I go, oh, I don't want that one, so I would start erasing, and pretty soon I had such a mess. And so I said, okay, I need a sketching tool that will give me a way to where I can express myself and not give me the option of erasing. Okay, and it will make me to be a much better painter, okay, the way I can visually see. So what I have done is I have gone to these Sharpie sketch pens here. This is the utility twin tip. Now these here are Micron, and these are archival ink, and it's a wonderful setup, and it's a very, very fine point. This is for artists who would like to do a lot of very fine detail, like if you're drawing birds or you're drawing flowers and such like that. This would be a wonderful tool for that. And the Identi pens here, they come in different colors. This was a black one here. This is a brown one, okay, for your values. So we'll be touching on all of those, okay. Next, what we'll come to is the actual painting process. Okay, here are some brushes that we'll touch on here. Here is some paper that we will touch on. This is the Kilimanjaro 140 pound original bright white. This is a block. This is what they call a block. There are 20 sheets of this paper, 12 by 16, on this block. And what you do is you paint your painting, then you take a knife and you set it in this little slot right here, and you remove the top page with your painting on it, and then you're ready to go all over again. Also too, here's what they call an aqua board right here, and this is for folks who want a little more a substantial painting platform or surface right here. And you can see they have masonite on the back, so this is a very, very neat product, and you just set this right on your board and you just draw your design if you want to draw, or you just start painting with the brush. Okay, we have these. Okay, this is a Gorilla Painter's umbrella. Okay, and it comes in a really nice little pack right here. And what we will do is, once I get my easel set up, today you wouldn't need an umbrella because we have cloud cover, okay? But there are days that when you need to set up and you do not have any shade or cloud cover, and it's always a good idea when you set up outside. I always try not to have direct sunlight on my paper. I find if I have direct sunlight on my paper, there's such a glare that I cannot get my values and my hues. Hues are color, okay? So we're working with values and we're working with color, okay? So it's always a good idea. I always tell my class it's a good idea to, if you're not under a shady covered area, then to get an umbrella. And we will put this together once I get the easel up. And for those of you who like comfort out here in the wilds, then this is a little camp stool. This is a pretty neat little thing right here. It comes in its own little carrying case here, and it's got a clip on where you can clip it onto your backpack or whatever you would like, okay? And it's a pretty neat little thing. It opens up and it telegraphs into here and here, and then it opens up, and look what you have here. You have your little seat for those of you who like to sit down and draw here. It's a pretty neat little, it's a pack seat. It's what's called a pack seat right here, and it's made out of durable nylon for the seat, and it has extra padding here, and it's got screws here to hold on the seat, okay? Last night when I opened it up, I thought, well, I need a little bit bigger seat than that, so I had to turn it upside down and I had to turn it this way. But it's very comfortable, and for those of you who like to sit out. This is a little palette set up with the watercolor crayons, okay? Right here, as you can see, they come in the same color of the American Journey watercolors come in, except they are in a crayon base. Okay, you can take these and you can apply them right directly to the watercolor paper or your sketch paper, and then take a brush with some water, and you can even mix them together if you'd like. Now, getting to the actual painting process. Here is, it's called Cheap Joe's 400 palette. I have been using these extensively in the last 2 or 3 years. I really like the size of this palette. It has the wells here. It has 2 big mixing areas. It has, I think, 17 wells here that you can put in. I figure if I can't paint a painting with 17 colors, then I better go find out something else to do. Now, here's also a little travel palette right here, and these are for the pans. I'm sure that you can get the American Journey in pans, or else if you have the American Journey tube paints right here, then you just squeeze it whichever you want in here. Now, once we get our painting finished, and we need to lift off a certain area in our to bring out the white of the paper, well, then we will use the Cheap Joe Art Stuff to paint erase. And what these are just little sponges that you can use, and you just open the pack up and you can pick out, I see they're all cut at different angles. You can have a great big one if you have a big area, or if you have just a little area, then what you can do here is you can just pick whatever size of this that you want, and we will use the artist tape to tape off the area that we want to lift off. And I will show you that at the end of the painting process also. I will be using the American Journey paints. They're right here. They come in small tubes, they come in the large tubes. I believe these are the 37 millimeters. I like the 37 millimeters because I use a lot of paint. Okay, whatever you want. This is a little painting bucket here that you can also carry your paints in, and then once you get on location, you can take the paints out, and then you can use these as a water container. You have 2 separate wells here. If you want to pull this out, then you have one great big well, or if you want to have 2 separate water containers, you can do that. This is a Cheap Joe here. Also too, they have these little water bottles here that you can carry water in. You can also liquefy your paint if you'd want, and put them in these little misting bottles, the American Journey misting bottles, okay, right here. And this is a nice little aid that you can have. You can use to clean out your palette, or else what you can do is you can put a wash on your watercolor paper, and then if you want to add a little bit of texture or a little bit of interest to those big areas, then you can squirt this water on it, and it'll turn it from a nice even coat to where part of it will run and part of it will mist up, and it's a very interesting little thing. Next, in the sequence of things that we need to do here, we are going to set up our actual easel and everything else that I've showed you here.